It's Jets Weekly with your host, Connor Hrabchak.
Welcome back to Winnipeg Jets Weekly. My name is Connor Hrabchak. On today's episode, we've got a 3-game road trip to discuss and a massive week ahead for the Winnipeg Jets, featuring a game on the road against the Dallas Stars. I will preview the upcoming schedule later on in the episode, but to kick it off, let's go back covering the 3-game road trip on Tuesday night in LA. The LA Kings continue to be the Jets' kryptonite as the Jets go winless against the LA Kings this season, and they started this road trip with a 4-1 loss. And the stats behind me here, I think, tell the story of this game, and it's something that Scott O'Neill mentioned after the game as well. This was a very even game. The Jets had chances, the Kings had their chances, but ultimately a tight checking defensive battle, and the Jets made 3 key mistakes, and all 3 of them ended up in the back of their net. Colin Miller had a turnover, David Gustafsson had a turnover, Logan Stanley had a turnover. All 3 of those turnovers in and around the neutral zone or the Jets defensive zone resulted in odd man rushes for the Kings, and they capitalized on all 3 of them. Outside of that, the Jets had their looks. They even had 2 power plays late in the third period, but were unable to convert on either of them before LA got the empty netter and pushed it to 4-1. And the Jets, winless against the LA Kings this season, started off their road trip with a 4-1 loss. And that brings us to the highlight of the road trip for the Winnipeg Jets as they went into Vegas on Thursday night, a team that they had lost 8 straight to in the regular season, dating all the way back to the 2021-22 season, and they came away with a 4-0 win. Eric Comrie actually got the start in this one, and he had a 26-save shutout, his second shutout of the season, and the Jets played one of their best defensive games of the season in front of Eric Comrie. Comrie had to make a big save off of Marc Stone on a 3-on-2 late in the second period. That would have really changed the game. The Jets were up 3-0 at that point, but Eric Comrie stood tall in that moment and then throughout the third period as well. And the Jets got on the board early. Mark Scheifele opened the scoring. Adam Lowry scored a playoff-style goal to give them a 2-0 lead early in the first, and they never looked back. Played great defensive hockey. Colin Miller had a bomb of a slap shot to give the Jets a 3-0 lead in the second period, and then Cole Perfetti ended it off with an empty net goal, giving the Jets a 4-0 win. Their first win in the regular season in Vegas since January 1st, 2022. They have beaten Vegas in Vegas, game 1 of the playoffs of the 2022-23 season, but it had been a while since they had won in Vegas in the regular season, and they did it tonight with the help of Eric Comrie, a 26-save shutout. That brings us to Saturday night, where the Winnipeg Jets dropped the final game of their 3-game road trip, a 4-1 loss to the Utah Hockey Club, and this game can only really be categorized as a missed opportunity. Earlier on in the day, the Dallas Stars lost on home ice to the Pittsburgh Penguins, opening the door for the Jets to potentially take a 5-point lead over the Stars in the Central Division. But as we all know, they were unable to do that. Utah came out firing in this one. The Jets came out flat in the first 40 minutes and were unable to recover. The stats behind me here might be a little flattering towards the Jets, leading in shots, expected goals, and scoring chances, but the bulk of that came in the third period when Utah was sitting back on the lead and the Jets took it to them, but were unable to mount a comeback, going 1-2-0 on this 3-game road trip. I mentioned Dallas there. They also lost on Sunday in overtime to the Minnesota Wild. Let's take a look at the Central Division standings now. So here's where we sit in the Central Division after Sunday's action. The Dallas Stars losing 3-2 in overtime to the Minnesota Wild today. That puts them within 3 points of the Winnipeg Jets for the Central Division lead, with each team having played 77 games. So each team has 5 games remaining, one of which for both we know is against the other one. Thursday, April 10th, Jets at Stars will be an absolutely massive game. I'll have more to say about that later on in this episode. Next, third place, the Colorado Avalanche with 98 points. The St. Louis Blues, winners of 12 straight games, by far the hottest team in the NHL right now, 93 points, and their next game is against the Winnipeg Jets on Monday Night Prime Hockey. The streak, will it be broken by the Jets? That should be a great game on Monday. And then the Minnesota Wild, the second wildcard team, 91 points in 78 games played, so a massive week ahead for playoff seeding in the Central Division. It's time to hand out some awards, the hardest working Jet of the week and my 3 stars of the week. But before we dive into that, make sure you've hit the like button on the video, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss Winnipeg Jets Weekly every single Monday morning. And while you're down there, drop a comment. Who's your first star of the week as the Winnipeg Jets went 1-2 on the road this week? Who was your standout performer? I'd love to hear it in the comments below. Now let's get into the awards.
The hardest working Jet.
My hardest working Jet of the week is Nino Niederreiter. He was really struggling offensively over the past couple of weeks, just recently broke his goal drought, and now this week he got reunited on that third line, a familiar one at that, with Adam Lowry and Mason Appleton as his line mates, and that line got right down to business in the Vegas game. Nino Niederreiter had 2 assists in that game, and that line did a ton of great work on the cycle, defensively, in the neutral zone, playing mistake-free hockey. For that, Nino Niederreiter gets the hard hat this week as my hardest working Jet.
And now, the Jets Weekly 3 Stars of the Week.
My third star of the week is Cole Perfetti. As the games continue to get tougher down the stretch here, it seems as though Perfetti is getting better by the game. On Tuesday night against LA, he had the Jets' only goal in that one and was easily one of their best forwards. On Thursday night against Vegas, he had an empty net goal being trusted in a late game situation. And then Saturday against Utah, he generated a ton of offense, especially in that third period when he got promoted up to the top line alongside Kyle Connor and Marc. So Cole Perfetti continued his hot streak this week with 2 goals and stellar play in the Utah game on Saturday night. He is my third star of the week. My second star of the week is Marc. He got the opening goal for the Jets in the Vegas game on Thursday night, which is such a crucial opening goal. We know that T-Mobile Arena is one of the loudest in the NHL, and you give Vegas a lead, and it's very tough to come back in that building. It's why the Jets have struggled there for so many years. Getting that first goal is so crucial. He scored that one in Vegas. And then Saturday night against the Utah Hockey Club, he had the Jets' only goal in that one, and that was actually his 800th career point. So congratulations to Marc on 800 career points. He's my second star of the week. My first star of the week is Eric Comrie. If you go on the road and have a 26-save shutout against the Vegas Golden Knights, that's enough to take home the first star of the week. And Comrie has delivered a handful of quality starts for the Winnipeg Jets so far this season in relief of Connor Hellebuyck. A 9-9-1 record, 19 starts, 2.36 goals against average, and a 914 save percentage and a 1.9 goals saved above expected. So Eric Comrie, under contract for this season and next at a very reasonable cap hit, has been a fantastic backup goaltender for the Winnipeg Jets this year. He is my first star of the week. Here's the upcoming schedule for the Winnipeg Jets. A ton of great games this week. Starting on Monday, April 7th, the Jets will welcome the hottest team in the NHL to town, the St. Louis Blues, who have won 12 straight games. That is a remarkable streak. The Jets will look to end that streak inside Canada Life Center and look to bounce back from a loss on Saturday to the Utah Hockey Club, setting up one of, if not the most important regular season game in this franchise's history as the Jets take on the Dallas Stars. The Jets have never won the Central Division, and a win on April 10th against the Dallas Stars would go a long way to securing their first ever Central Division title. That will be an absolutely massive game with massive playoff implications. Stay tuned to Winnipeg Sports Talk all week long for all of the preview and reaction from that game that you need. And then the Jets and Blackhawks will do battle on April 12th. First game of a back-to-back for the Jets, who will then travel back to Winnipeg and take on the Oilers on April 13th. All signs point to the Oilers having Connor McDavid back in the lineup for that game as well. He has resumed skating. Last time we saw him on the ice was actually against the Jets, where he left that game right before the third period. We will have you covered all week long right here on the Winnipeg Sports Talk YouTube channel. And of course, I'll be back next Monday breaking down all 4 of these games on the next edition of Winnipeg Jets Weekly. That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button down below. And like I said, hit that notification bell. Tons of huge games for the Winnipeg Jets this week. You don't want to miss any of the content we're putting out right here on this channel. So hit that notification bell. Stay glued to everything Winnipeg Jets right here at Winnipeg Sports Talk. Enjoy the games this week, and I'll be back next Monday on the next episode of Winnipeg Jets Weekly.